Hello everyone, this is CJNovo992 and today we're back for a brand new video. What day is it now? I honestly don't know, but there is one thing I do know. It is none other than signing day as we welcome another man into the building that's lifting that scarf above their head. Remember not too long ago where we were all getting frustrated and annoyed and worried about the silence and the lack of transfers? My head is throbbing, and honestly I feel like if you carved it open it would look like the wee computer for Matrix, but instead of mad wee letters it's just got numbers and stats. His player profiles are up here in the bad boy, but at least it's an exciting thing, and everybody that was worried about the silence of our transfer dealings, you now know that silence didn't mean we weren't working our arse off. In fact, it's the exact opposite, as this is the work and the players are getting announced and the dominoes are truly falling right now. But again, before we do dive into the player profile and look at these numbers and stats, it is none other than the time to throw out the old arms and welcome Mr. Nasser Djiga to the football club, and hope he's half as good as he has been for the last couple of years, because if he is, we're on to a winner. But before we do dive into it, again, this will be the first time me and they have reacted to Big Nasser in terms of the videos, because there has been no rumour video, there hasn't been a discussion, as again it's that one punch knockout we told it would be coming from the new owners. And I know it's really bad and I should be frustrated that I'm not getting a rumour video, then I'm not getting a reaction video, because it's all about views and that's what everybody bloody cares about in this social media space. But honestly, I'm a Rangers fan first, and the way this is going about is so damn exciting to me. I feel like a kid at Christmas. I'm just, bang, there's another one. I just want to wrap all these presents. So it's a very exciting time in the channel. But again, apologies about the lack of rumour videos, because they're coming so thick and fast, because they're getting ready and then they're done. There's no point in putting the rumour video. It's just about waiting, and I'd rather look at it fresh right here on the channel. Again, there will be the occasional rumour video, but this is really exciting to me, and it's a fresh perspective me and thee can have on this journey as we welcome another man into the building. So let's get on with the old video. Again, if you don't mind hitting that like button, that'd be absolutely sensational. We've got a lot of new subscribers recently on the channel, which is greatly appreciated as we try and reach 67,000 subscribers, which is terrifying to think about. But what's even more terrifying is we have brought in another centre back, and guess what? You can hate her. The football. It's the nightmares for every team in the SPFL that's been bleeding this club dry over the last couple seasons. But transitioning in to the player profile, again, Big Nasser is a 22-year-old centre half who stands at 6'3" in a kin. Header the football. I'm sold. I'm done. That's it. Wrap the video up there. Oh, you need more? Okay, not only is he tall, not only is he good at heading the football, he is also very strong and quick across the ground. And again, he is, I think, boring people, the Mace Russell Martin style athletic defender you're expecting to see. This is when Russell Martin was announced. This is when it was rumoured to be Russell Martin. There would be a distinct change in what we want from our centre halves, and the guys that are in the building right now are all on borrowed ground, and their tickets potentially could be getting punched. And I think nearly every single one of them will be replaced during this window, and maybe even possibly into January, as we start to fill our defensive ranks up with actual defenders, ladies and gentlemen. I know that might sound extremely harsh, but is it? Is it? To say that we've never had good defenders for a long time. If you look at the standard of goals we conceded on a weekly basis, no matter the level of opposition, no matter which league they came into, this Rangers defence just bent over and allowed them to have their way. Well, Russell Martin seemingly is putting people and bringing in personalities and traits that should be stopping that like that. And I think this is one in terms of Nasser. Now, this might not be the most popular thing to hear, or maybe what you want to hear as a Rangers fan, but when you compare the two profiles of our two young centre-halves that we have brought in, Fernandez, who is our player, and Nasser, who is, of course, on loan. If you're putting them together and you're trying to look at, yes, they've got similar strengths, yes, they've got similar traits, and yes, they've got similar upside in terms of their very high potential. But Emmanuel is a year older, and that should give him the edge overall in terms of being able to play longer, should have more experience. But that experience is tipped heavily in the favour in Nasser, and he seemingly has put the pieces together on a more consistent basis, a lot more than Big Emmanuel, which again I'm hoping because he is a Rangers player in the long term that he does put those tools, but where Emmanuel's very, very raw, Nasser has cooked a wee bit more and he's ready to rock and roll. He's not only got experience, he played nearly week in, week out for the last 4 years since he was 17, since he was 18 years old, but he's also got experience playing in European competitions, including having double-digit games already in terms of the Champions League. So where I think Emmanuel Fernandez is an exciting prospect, I think Nasser's good to go right now, and he's able to drop in that back line and, dare I say, be an improvement in what we've got so far. Very, very interested to see how he translates to the Scottish game, but just looking at him for a second and reading what managers say, see his scouting report, see what his strengths are and see where his weaknesses are, he is nearly perfectly suited to Scottish football, I'd argue, and that is a lot of that strength. Now, he isn't the sliding centre-back that's going to come in and send bodies 7 feet in the air and you're going to say, oh, there's a big bully. He's a bully in a different way, as he is so strong with his upper body. He just pushes people out the way. He relishes defenders attackers taking him on. He just throws them to the deck. Very rarely goes to the ground. Will obviously go there if he needs to, but he just times his tackles really well. He doesn't get many yellow cards, doesn't put himself in jeopardy a lot, and again, his attributes and strengths should mirror Scottish football because he can handle somebody trying to barge in the back of him and he can climb and get up. So again, in terms of a centre back, I know it's not the sexiest thing to break down, but a lot of our weaknesses last season tips in the favours of his strengths, and that's what you're wanting in signings, to improve and where you're weak. And despite this being a loan, this is an improvement. So for me, it's a good one. But hey, we're talking about a defender. I'm a Rangers fan, so you know what that goes to next. What about the ball at the old feet? As that's a very, very important part of our game, and it seems to be one of the main criteria as we go ahead and negotiate down. And we're talking about his strengths, we're talking about his defensive strength, as again, he's more of a defender first than an attacker in my opinion, which is the way it should be. For centre halves, is he more of a Katic then, that he can't do nothing with the ball at his feet, or is it a wee bit the Goldie where he can drop it where he needs to be? Well, I'd say it's more in the middle, you know what I mean, where I think Emmanuel Fernandez is, for instance, a much more accomplished passer, a much more comfortable on the ball. I wouldn't say Nasser's looks like bamboo or he's running about with Timbies on his old feet, but again, he can supply, he can go for a run because of that power, but again, I'm not expecting him to be dropping balls on a dime and opening massive gaps in behind with 50, 60 yard diags, in my opinion. He can take it through the goalie, he can slap it in the middle of the park, or again, gallop if he needs to. But I'm expecting any quarterback throws? Nah, I'm not. But you know what I'm expecting? A defender to defend. So I'm happy. Now, there is a couple of things not to be happy about, and that maybe takes us into the old numbers and stats, right? Because he is a young player and he is a Rangers player, and depending how the clickbait is actually going to be there from the media, a lot of people might talk about his injury proneness and how many games that he has missed during his short career to injuries, which again, when you first hear it, when you first see it, you go, oh my God almighty, he's an injury prone player. But that's unfair, and I just want to rip up that narrative and rip up that conversation point, because yes, did this kid struggle with injuries in his first 2 seasons at his career at 18, 19 years old? Yeah, he did. He missed a total of 40 games in those 2 seasons, which again, isn't great, but that happens a lot when young players take that jump up for youth football and under it, and then play up to that level, and they start getting smashed and they start playing against adults that are leaving things in them, and the challenges are a bit more attacker. The game is much more quicker. Young players do pick up knocks, but as they get older, their body gets stronger, their body adjusts, and that's the way football's always been. So I know it is easy to say, oh, he's missed 40 games through injury in his career and he's only 22, hurrah, but again, that was all in the first 2 years. If you look at his last 2 seasons of football, he's missed 6 games in all competitions, and a couple of them, for the little information I can actually find regarding them, are listed as a precaution for that, so they're just managing his minutes, because again, he's still a young player. So I'm not getting involved in the pandemonium in terms of the injuries, but that's my only real worry, or that's the only real potential negative you could have when you surround this and you look into this player. The clickbait will be, oh my God, you seen how many games he's missed for injury? Aye, how many has he missed in the last 2 years, and what type of level and performances he's been putting in? That's what I'd rather focus in. So let's narrow in on that then, shall we, and look at his most recent season of football before coming up the road to Rangers. Ironically, like a couple of players we've looked at this season, he actually played for 2 clubs last season. As he played for Red Star and he played for Wolves, and obviously got some Premier League experience for Wolves, but his main games, his biggest performances and his biggest tests, in my personal opinion, all came when he played for Red Star, including his Champions League campaign, as he played in every single game available. And I'm going to read you his opposition, who he played in the Champions League, and it was an education. In his debut season in terms in the Champions League, he played against Barcelona, Inter Milan, AC Milan, Benfica, PSV, Stuttgart, Monaco and Young Boys. And when you take a step back and look at that, that's a hell of an apprenticeship for the young man. And obviously they never won too many games of that, and you can probably guess the 2 games that Red Star went ahead and won. Yes, it was against Stuttgart, and yes, it was against Young Boys, in both games that he was very, very good in, by the way. But again, it wasn't the easiest Champions League campaign, but that is really testing yourself against the very best of the best. And again, his match reports are a little bit on the lower side simply because of the goals they conceded, but if you dive into that and you look at the clearances, the tackles, the interceptions, as that, you can see something in there. But that's about as tough as it gets, and he came out the other side and finished the campaign with a very impressive performance and a clean sheet. So his confidence wasn't shattered and he wasn't broken apart. He responded and ended with a cleanie. Speaking of cleanies, by the way, he did pick up 10 clean sheets in the 33 games that he played last season. Again, one of them being in the Champions League, 2 of them being in the Premier League, although he didn't start those games, but he was brought in to protect it. So it is worth mentioning. But again, the majority of his clean sheets came for playing for Red Star in terms of the league competition, in which honestly they were absolutely outstanding with him in the backline. And it's maybe ironic to look at, because the one game he missed in terms of the league is the one game they lost. The rest, when he played, they were undefeated during that run. So it shows you his importance already to a backline and what it looks like with him and what it looks like with Fulham. But to finish up the numbers and stats properly, when you take everything into consideration, barring youth football and reserve football, he's played a total of 111 games, including 14 games in the Champions League, 2 of them in the Champions League qualifier. He's got Conference League experience and a Conference League run under his belt as well. He's played in various different countries, various different leagues, and he has 5 games in the Premier League as well. So the experience is all there, despite being 22. And you compare that with Big Emmanuel, who again, no disrespect, there is a massive difference in where he's been and where he's went about the place. But again, you never know if they can handle the weight of the shirt. One might rise, the other year might fall. Or again, what I'm hoping is both of them do well, and maybe they'll get some experience, maybe they'll learn some experience, and that'll help push both of them to the next level. And again, for me, this is just completely strengthening the weakest part of our team, and that's centre backs that can't defend and can't header the football. But again, during those 111 games, he has scored 5 goals, he has 3 assists, he's picked up 11 yellow cards, and he's been sent off once in his career, but that was pretty early on in terms of the second division of French football. But he's not been getting involved in that more recently than not. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of the numbers and stats. Again, a hell of a lot of experience under his belt, various different competitions. European football, again, is a big factor, especially where we want to go. Well, he's well versed despite being 22, and he's played probably the premier and the best of the very best that he can come up again, and held his own on occasion, whilst using the other negative experience as a learning experience to bounce back and finish with a cleanie and a very good match report. So yeah, there's something certainly in the laddie, and for the next 12 months, hopefully that bleeds to success on the park, and he can go ahead and be a very, very good player for us. But again, as always, we have to finish up with the all competition for places, which I think I made very, very clear. There is a lot of players, not only in this video, but I'm pretty sure I've said it about 400 times now in the videos. There's a lot of players in the club in terms of centre-backs that aren't good enough to take us where we want to go, right? And I think a lot of them will be getting moved on either this window or the next window, or let go at the end of the season, and we need a complete rebuild. Emmanuel was the start. That's why the title was the start of the centre-back rebuild. This is continuing on that, and that's strengthening that area of the park and seeing if they can play Russell Martin ball, which again, everyone suggests that they can, because we know they have slow centre-halves that can't turn and turn like a caravan and run like they're towing one of them. That's no what it's been. Every one of them's comfortable at the ball at their feet. Every one of them likes to get stuck in, and really you can see what Russell Martin's trying to add to this team. and I like it, if I'm honest with you. So that's what I've got to say about the deal. That's what I've got to say about the player. Was he needed? Aye. Is it a good deal? In my personal opinion, yes, it is, and I think he is going to be a main part of this team and be in and amongst it at least, to say that. But again, that's me all done and dusted. What about you? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down there in the old comment section below. And before we wrap up today's video, again, as always, shout out to the channel legend members. Thank you so much for signing up. Thank you so much for signing up to the supporter range as well, if you have went ahead and done that. And again, thank you to each and every single person watching today's video, whether you watch, like, subscribe, sign up to the memberships. Every single person that takes time out of their day to watch this guy, honestly, thank you all so much, and I greatly appreciate it. But again, until next time, which I don't even know what day it is anyway, like, honestly, I don't know. I might be seeing you in 10 seconds, I might be seeing you in 10 minutes, you just never know. But until then, I've been CJ Novo 92. Thank you all so much for watching, all the best, and bye bye.